What I'm about to say will be controversial. What I'm about to say may send you into a spiral. I don't have all the answers to this issue. It would be impossible for me to. But what I do know is black people are homophobic. I've seen it for myself and I know it. But we don't have to be. We could question the foundation of our spiritual beliefs and unite our voices into beautiful symphonies. But black trans women are sleeping outside in makeshift tents. And black queer women are fighting for their lives. It makes no sense, but they wouldn't have to be if we investigated the history of African sexuality and honed in our compassion and empathy. Some of my black queer friends have been banished from their families and homes because their families don't know the truth. But they wouldn't have to be if we metamorphosed our community's views of fundamentalist Christianity. Lil Nas X, a black male rapper, came out as gay a little while back. And the rap industry fell apart, said he could either be gay or black, not both. It's sad, they called him every name in the book, from punk to sissy to fruit. They wouldn't have, though, if they only knew the truth. Because the truth is, ancient Africa was the most vibrant and queer territory on earth. Until this. If a man has sexual relations with a man, as one does with a woman, both of them have done what is detestable. They are to be put to death. Their blood will be on their own heads. Leviticus 20:13. We've all heard this verse, right? We've all heard this curse, right? Leviticus 20:13, it's haunted our thoughts, realities, and dreams. And it seems like the same old rhetoric is being used to beat, bash, and abuse those who we don't understand. To understand, to withhold, or to stand under, holding up. Well, who's doing the holding? Who is the one scolding human lives with their lies and molding this narrative like a fiend, producing our modern-day version of Leviticus 20:13? White people. You see, Christianity existed on the continent of Africa long before European colonizers or white people made their mark on the land, but it wasn't whiteified. You see, Leviticus 20:13, the curse that's crucified so many of our dreams and black human beings, may have had a different connotation to it. Like many other passages condemning homosexuality, Leviticus 20:13 is mistranslated because the Bible was written in Hebrew. Aramaic and Greek started in Judea, and its words were spread by mouth through prophecies in the streets. And then the sin, the mistranslation, and fabrication of the original text came into play. Because actually, Leviticus 18:22, another verse, whose words are cursed, translated from 19th century German text reads, "You, man, men, you shall not lie with a young boy." as you do with a woman, for it is an abomination. In fact, the word homosexual wasn't coined until the 19th century. In fact, in September of 2017 at Yale, in a series of workshops and investigative meetings about the state of the Bible, the Revised Standard Version Committee of the Bible concluded that the word homosexual was a harmful and inaccurate translation of Malachi and Arsinokoitai, confirming that these original scriptures were commenting on child molestation and pedophilia. No wonder why Catholic priests don't mention that. All of this, because I'm just trying to say, your heart, this may transfix. But the word homosexual didn't appear in the English Bible until 1946. It's sick. And ancient Africa had to pay the price of the lies that white people used to scrutinize and colonize, because at one point, Africa had ancient cave paintings of passionate male lovers, then grew into queens ruling territories with their woman at their side until fundamentalist Christian values intruded to divide. We had queendoms and palaces. Then with the fiend came their fallacies. They looked at our vibrant queer culture like a vulture and ripped it limb from limb, criticized the way we lived our lives and broke our homes from within, beat the black off our backs until we were black and blue, starved us of our freedom. Now our legacy, stained with pain, shame, anger, and disdain, made us keep our head down, treated us like clowns. There was no place to run because we were bound to a nice little colony, a place called Jamestown. Or at least that's what they tell you, to make it seem simple, to make it seem memorable. But what did they do to the indigenous people? What did they do? In 1526, when enslaved Africans resisted being taken from their home. What did they do to our culture? What were they there to do? Like Satan in John 10:10, steal, kill, and destroy. They began indoctrinating us with their fundamentalist Christian values from their mistranslated spiritual passages that acted as a law of the land. White men raped and buck-broke black men in front of their families for entertainment, castrated them, and eventually created breeding farms in which black boys as young as 13 were forced to have sex with their mothers, their sisters, and their siblings in order to produce children who would be born into slavery. All to understand, to stand under, holding up. Slavery ended, but it never truly ended, because that lives with us today. As Resma Menakem, the brilliant author of My Grandmother's Hand, states, time decontextualizes trauma. Now, as a result, specifically, our young black men, I've seen it for myself, can't love one another, can't hug and tug on one another, can't emote or cry on each other's shoulders, can't open up about their trauma. Instead, it eats them alive as they get older because they've got the weight of racialized trauma like a boulder sitting on their shoulders. Our young black men are wounded entities flying through the atmosphere above, whose wings are broken. But to survive in the jungle, they fly anyway, and eventually tumble to the ground, smacking it with a horrific sound. We started with crowns, and now we have black broken dreams. Our black dreams are broken. They took the Bible and twisted it, mangled it, and strangled it until they got what they wanted. The one force that controls us all, the one true hellhound, power. And now 3/4 of black Americans say they believe in a higher power. Most of them Christian. So, now that you know the truth, what now? What now? We can question everything, hold a mirror back up to our society and make it reflect at its reflection. We can find the discrepancies and commonalities in our beliefs, find the coincidences and incidents, and speaking of which, I find it funny how this lines up. Leviticus 20:13. Leviticus 20:13. Leviticus 2013. Well, Leviticus 2013 was the same year we saw this country striking down on the federal discrimination this nation had when it came to legal gay love and marriages, cracking down on the smug disparages of intergenerational fundamentalist beliefs. These actions and others, enacted by myself and our counterparts, prove that we have the ability to reshape and metamorph this society's loud clamoring roars into beautiful symphonies. Take every moment in life and make it extraordinary. Erase the apathy that lives in our hearts and actively do our part to actually make applicable change within these systems, not indulge in performative activism. We can't rewrite history, but we can gain back our empathy and compassion. But we can only do it with action. Not passive motions, but present tasks and passion. And when we do this, my people will metamorphose into the vibrant culture we honed before colonization. My people will interrogate the scriptures they were indoctrinated with. White people won't hesitate to own the harm they did, and all the people will see that this fleeting moment we call life gifts us more than a singular manner of living it. Or maybe we won't. I mean, after all, the only reason I'd be standing on this stage 156 years ago is if it were an auction. And I were the property. But, as the ancient African proverb states, truth should be in love, and love in truth. At least now, you know the truth. At least now, you understand. My name is Isaiah Zavon Boozer, and I thank you.